Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations. This week, we got another hot one for you. But before we get into all of that, Zoe's got some shout-outs.
Yeah, yo, what up? What up? Hey, first of all, thank you to all listeners for listening. And this shout out goes to Calvin, because Calvin already on one. He's on 10, and it's another one.
Another one.
Oh, my God.
All right, so this week, we're going to talk about, does therapy work? So strap in. Let the kings talk about it. All right, good people, welcome back to another edition of Kingly Conversation. And as I am every single week, I'm Alan.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Twine, a.k.a. Twine. Ask me about my podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Another one. No,
Another one.
I'm joking.
Another one. It's another one.
I'm joking. All right, gentlemen, what's going on this morning?
I mean, this morning, it's all you, sir. It's all you.
Let me get into it. Well, as you already heard, this podcast is going to be about therapy. And the question is, does therapy work?
All right, before we get started, because I'm going to be the guy, the voice that says, no therapy. I'm going to be the opposite. On purpose. I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Sure, devil's advocate. No, no.
I don't agree.
It
does work. But here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
Here we go.
I feel like you saying you don't agree.
I feel like you hide as a mirage and you trying to.
I'm saying no. It does work for some people. I'm gonna say no, it don't work today. Just to create a better dialogue between the two, because if we both agree, we won't have a conversation.
Well, first of all, have you been to therapy?
I plead the fifth.
So then you can be yourself.
I went to therapy. I went to therapy as a child, but it was more of a family therapist. I think I was about 7th, 8th grade. And we went to family therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, does it work? Yes, for some. Now, me as an adult, I have not been back to therapy as an adult. So that will happen sooner or later. Therapy is expensive.
It can be, for sure.
It can be. But for some people that have different benefits, such as veterans, that they can use that. But for others, it's very expensive. So,
I mean, that's true. I don't know where our host is going.
the host had to go step away for a second.
No, it's crazy. It's like, what happened there? But right. So I agree, though, that therapy can certainly get expensive. It's generally, it's cost prohibitive. There's a reason that, normally the people that have means are the ones that tend to get therapy. So.
There, who's go back?
Oh, I see him. Okay, yeah.
What happened?
We lost the host for like 45 seconds. We didn't know where the host went.
I thought I was faster, guys. I'm sorry. My equipment was about to die. I had to run and get the charger before I did that in the middle of the podcast. So y'all forgive me, all the listeners out there. I'm back, baby. Heavy in breath. Anyway, so
heavy in the breath.
So,
with
like I was saying, in regards to therapy, there's a lot of people out there that don't see the benefits of therapy, and I just wanted to talk about a few things that maybe would encourage people to do so. For me, it has been beneficial, and majority of my family now has been through therapy. Majority, not all, and it seems to be doing them well. So it range from 10 and up as far as age range. So it definitely has been. Really, it really. Even okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pause right now because we not gonna do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen now, we're actually recording remotely, so you probably can tell by this the difference in sound from other recordings. So, as I'm talking, somebody is sending me emojis and all this other stuff, trying to distract me. But
ain't nobody trying to distract you. You the one said you were winded, so I just wanted to demonstrate your windedness.
Who does this, bro? Who does this? Anyway, moving on. So back to therapy, man. Y'all are terrible. So there are some benefits, and I'm gonna say right now that with my personal experience, better communication skills has been one of these benefits that I see that has been a tremendous help for me and my family. So as far as better communication skills, it just allows you to have the ability to, I guess, practice with talking. Because I wasn't really a big conversational person. I've always been an introvert. I am still an introvert now. However, I have learned to communicate even when I don't want to.
Well, yeah, I think that's going to be one, because for certainly for some people, talking about whatever the issue may be, or even just talking through issues so you can try to find out what an issue could be, is going to be cathartic for some people, and it's going to give them, some level of benefit, because a lot of times human beings do bottle stuff up. Most people don't, for whatever, either due to past trauma or whatever, don't wear their emotions or whatever on their sleeve. So in order to even discuss any of this stuff, to get to any sort of resolution, they got to go talk to somebody that they don't know. Because it is, in theory, the therapist shouldn't be out here judging people, right? So it's sometimes easier to talk to somebody that is not going to judge.
The therapist judging you.
They may be, but they're not going to tell you.
They're not going to tell you. Okay.
Is that what your sentiment is? Is that why you don't encourage therapy?
No, I'm just being that guy.
No.
I'm being that guy.
No. That same
keep that same energy. No, so I think for most people, or for most therapists, no, they're not there to judge, because in order to judge, you have to have a consequence for action. And so they're not judging you, and really they're there to help. Their intentions are to help you deal with the issue. So that's what they're there for. So, to say they could judge you, I don't agree with that.
They can, but they don't verbalize it.
But I don't think think again, to me, the definition of judgment, you have to have a consequence. If you don't have a consequence, that's why I hate when people say, "Don't judge me." All this, I hate that phrase, because in order to judge somebody, you really have to have a consequence for their action, and nobody's in that place to say, "Okay, well," again, some people try to.
Oh no, there is a consequence.
What's the consequence? Judged you this morning when you was up here drinking coffee, talking about another one.
Another one. All right. So what's the consequence?
Just that being ostracized by your peers.
That's it.
Don't nobody care
for your evil coffee drinking decisions.
Evil coffee drinking, yeah, and you're right.
But that would be so for most people. But
is the judgment.
But for a lot of people, that is enough. Like being shunned by their friends or people that they thought were their friends. For a lot of people, that is enough of a quote unquote judgment to cause them at least some level of trauma internally, right? So it's not they don't have the ability to banish you to a lake of fire or anything like that. Right. But it certainly for some people could certainly feel like it, especially if there are people that you've been you spent you spent your entire life with these people from kindergarten all the way into college. Possibly and then looked up to. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now they're like, oh, you can't sit with us, so to speak. That for some people is going to be harm. So they have the ability to give you some sort of punishment. It's just not what you may consider punishment, because you're just like, well, I don't care. But they care.
Yeah. But again, the therapist is not going to isolate you like that.
If you have a good therapist, they're not. They're not. Now, if you out here operating on one of these Oscar the Grouch level therapists, then you might have a problem.
Oh Lord! But speaking of being judgmental, and I think the therapy helped me with the people who were being judgmental towards me. Not a therapist, but the people in my world that I would feel that ostracism, or whatever you want to call it, as far as feeling a certain type of way because they judged me off of something I did or said. With the therapist, I can tell you right now, I have no fear of judgment from anybody. I don't care. Well, maybe one person, but Ashley's not judgmental. She likes to talk things through, and she asks questions to understand. She doesn't just come out the gate being judgmental. So, I don't care what nobody says. You can be judgmental all you want to. So shout out to all my therapists out there. I appreciate y'all. They're doing a great job out here in these streets. Moving on.
Give him my hand. I'm saying, give him the applause.
Yeah. So, and I mean, but with the therapist though, with dealing with people and feeling a certain type of way, depression, anxiety, feeling judged a lot, even by people that weren't judging me. It's just that I in my head, everybody was out to get me for some reason. But anyway, they gave me advice to cope with my issues, as far as one of the benefits of therapy. So if you do have issues, have questions, it can be questions in regarding of not getting closure from someone who's no longer here. It could be closure from a destroyed relationship because something traumatic happened. So whatever the case is, just give me a few examples. Whatever the case is, it definitely helps deal and cope with those things. That way you can move on and be great.
Cool.
All right. Anyway, moving on. So I have no rebuttal. No rebuttal.
No rebuttal right there. All right. So acknowledging that you are not alone in your feelings and the things that you feel. Talk about that, because some people just simply feel like they're the only one going through this issue or this problem.
Yeah. In regards of that, I was, me personally, like I said, I can speak on that. I was alienating myself. So I had a feeling of being like an alien on this planet. Like I was alone by myself and I was different, and that nobody was experiencing things that I was going through. So with the therapist, they kind of open a door or open a window, if you will, the shades of a window to kind of help me see things in a more realistic way. There are people who go through things that there's a saying that you think you've got it bad, but there's other people out there that's got it, going through worse. So it just helped me understand the reality of my situation versus my mind playing tricks on me. All right, let's move on.
Ghetto boys were trick or treating.
So as far as that feeling alone and feeling like you're stranded in the while you're surrounded by people is something that I did deal with, but with the therapist's help, and I did group therapy as well. I said I do group therapy. So
Mr. Hill, Google.com would like to use your current location.
Terrible.
Hey, shut up in the face. I'm just joking. What is that, man? What are you doing?
The computer does that. That's what I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, you need that. That is no. You need to turn that off. You need to. I'll show you how to turn that off. But that makes no sense.
I feel like we just talked about people being judgmental, and I have some thoughts. You judging me for saying I'm judging, bro.
You judging me because it said talk to me?
Hey, you look 23, man, but technology-wise, you're about 84, man.
85.
85. Yeah, you're about 85, man. Yeah, so acknowledging that I wasn't alone was something that I was able to get help with. I'm not sure if y'all having any sleep issues or like night terrors or things of that nature, but if you do, therapy does in fact help with not being able to sleep. Because I guess that's why I'm so grumpy sometimes, man. Because even now, my mind will race. So I can't really go to sleep like in a timely fashion. Like last night, like my mind was racing, but I get up and I have a substantial amount of energy, but I'm tired. My body's tired, so I'm irritable, and things just trigger me quicker because of the lack of sleep. But with the help of the therapy, I think that a lot of people may not, be aware of it, or they don't want to be. It improves the sleep. It helps you. I sleep like a baby now. I got some things that I do to help me get to a rested state and go to sleep. And I ain't worried about, things that would normally have my mind racing like a NASCAR race. But anyway, that's one of the things that does help as far as benefits. And I think that's all I want to like. Some of the benefits. There's plenty of more benefits out there for people because everybody's different. But it definitely improves your physical well-being as well, because that stress will get you. That's a silent killer. So I would encourage anybody out there to look into some of the benefits of going to therapy, because it's definitely it helps, man. And if you and y'all talked earlier when I was absent for a brief moment, 45 seconds to be exact. The cost of therapy. The cost of therapy. There are some resources out there. So, if y'all would like me to do some research, if you're listening and you're one of the listeners, and we can help, or I can help go do some research, because I had to do some research for my daughter a while back. She did not.
Yeah, do that, and because I can put it on the when we write up the notes for the podcast and to publish it, then we can just put them in the notes. Here's some resources that you can use, type of thing.
Yeah, and I'll try to look for something that's like international or national. That way, because different states and things have different sources. But I'll do my part, man. So that way we can have the listeners have some type of help out there, man, because it's available. It's just unfortunately you have to dig through you got to trim through a lot of the fat to get to the good portion. So
that's part of what makes it tough, is and that people don't know where, what to turn to, what type of therapist. They don't know any of it. It's kind of like, because just because you do therapy, quote unquote, do therapy, doesn't mean that you're somebody that's gonna be good for this person. Because then, that's the other part I think that makes it tough is, a lot of the time you have to find a therapist that you
would want to talk
that
to.
you would want to talk to, that you vibe with. And
Yeah,
that can certainly be tough. And it's getting, I don't know if it's more or less difficult now that you can do so many of these things remotely, like just from your phone, because now they have apps and everything else that you can actually utilize to either find a therapist or talk directly to a therapist, just like you're FaceTiming somebody. And I don't know if that makes it easier or more difficult, though, to actually find a therapist that you want to talk to.
That's a good point because when we were picking or choosing therapists for the kids, we had them do like read up on them a little bit to see if they would talk be comfortable talking with them, and with the results they did kind of go through and say no, not her, not them, for whatever particular reason they had in their mind. I mean, but we just wanted to find somebody for them. But that is a good point. You definitely have to um, I mean, have somebody you're comfortable talking with. So that's a good point, man. That is a good point.
Absolutely, because I
Okay.
mean, if you go into a therapy session and you still trying to be bottled up and trying to hold everything in and not trying to share, but you don't have the means to pay for a year's worth of sessions or something like that, then it might not work, because
Yeah.
if you've only got one or two sessions and before you just like, well, I'm done, I'm out, then you might not even allow yourself to be open enough to discuss anything at all.
Right. That's
Especially
true.
if you don't have a definite reason. Like if you're not saying, hey, look, I'm having an issue with this. I know I'm having an issue with this. So I'm coming to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
Then if you're just kind of like testing the waters and feeling it out, it might be, it might not, without time, it might not lead to any fruition. Especially since, for the most part, people are very non they can't see themselves as easily as they can see, issues or concerns in other people. So,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to like nothing's going on with me. I'm just here so I don't get fined like Marshawn Lynch. You just,
You
so
know
you
why I'm
just,
here.
yeah, exactly. You know why I'm here, because somebody said I need to be here, but I ain't really got no intentions on doing any of the work to get
Right.
better. So, tell me what
Yeah.
you got to tell me so I can just get up out of here. We can finish this hour
Right.
out.
Yeah. Just wasted money. Yep. We definitely had some issues, especially with being a parent, and the therapist. So in the beginning, it was a problem because the person wasn't participating, and knowingly they was like rejecting it altogether as a whole. But you will definitely, as a parent, you definitely have to. I lost my train of thought, man. I'm sorry. I'll get back to it. I forgot. I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting old.
Hey,
I know,
well,
right?
better to get old, I guess, than be patted on the face with a shovel.
Now, Calvin mentioned earlier about family therapy, and that's actually one of the forms of therapy. If you're in a relationships, you definitely have the couples therapy. But
Yep.
before doing your couples therapy, or while you're doing your couples therapy, I would encourage that you do individual therapy as well, because there's some things that you may not be comfortable talking with in front of your spouse that you're working through, and that might be like an underlying issue of why your relationship is at the point where you're at therapy. So
Yep.
you might want to look into that individually. That's you always. I mean, for me, it was always a matter of me becoming better. I got to a point where it was a downward spiral as far as what I was doing and how I was living. And don't get it confused, man, because things were going great, but I still was going through mentally, psychologically. I was still going through some things. So even with all the success that I was achieving, I was still having issues. It doesn't matter um, your status um, in life, because, anxiety, depression, all these things, they don't care how much money you have and don't have. So it, a lot of people like to put on masks, or they like to become this punching bag for others. And what I mean by that is, what I used to do is I would use comedy as a way of deflecting people off of looking at me.
Yep.
Like if I felt like the attention was on me, then they can see right through me and see all the things I was dealing with internally. So I would, make them laugh. The more I kept them laughing, the less they would be looking at me, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of things out there that people try to mask and cover up, man. But I'm here to encourage those who are listening and those who are not listening. If you have somebody, if you're listening, and there's somebody out there that this may be a help to them, just some words of encouragement, then definitely, man, get them connected, and we can have a conversation, man. We can definitely have a conversation.
So one of the things that, along with that, and I want to make sure people heard you, is to everybody on the outside, everything would have looked fine.
Right.
And just like we talked, because we just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? How do you even know in yourself, but then in others, when something is going on? And, so we went through that. Go back and listen to that episode. We went through all of that on how you can really, because it is tough to figure out, especially if people are hiding in plain sight. When they're hiding who they are, when they get around people, and then they're around themselves, they, for lack of a better term, fall apart. But then they get around other people, and to try to put a face or a mask on.
Hold it together.
So that's that. But there are a lot of people doing that. There are a lot of people that are living, somebody said, quiet lives of desperation. And you would just, if you're not involved, you won't notice it. You just won't notice it because they're really good at hiding it. Especially if you don't see them, like if you're not with them all the time, then they're gonna be really good at hiding it. Nobody, unless you just, if you can hide it all the time, like you're around people 24/7 and you can just, nobody can ever tell at all, then you just need to go ahead and get your Academy Award, because I
was a professional.
See, there you go. See, then you need to go ahead and
all that stuff started at an early age, my guy. So from what I've been through, it started at an early age. So you got some professionals out here that have been through some things, but yet and still they put on a smile and they keep it pushing, and everybody around them think they're okay, and then they ran and they get some bad news, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
Yep. So that's unfortunate, man. So before I get to that point, like I said, man, therapy is very beneficial, and I really hope that somebody, it's just one person, hears this and gets some encouragement to seek therapy, no matter what, man. I personally know that it's beneficial. What about you, Calvin? How's your therapy going?
I don't do therapy.
Okay.
I don't do therapy.
All right. So listen.
So
from that perspective,
from the past.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. All right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna follow your train. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, being that I'm an advocate of therapy,
right?
For you, now this is not bashing you. I'm not judging you at all. I want to be clear. I just want to get your perspective, like the other side of the spectrum of a person who thinks differently.
I have always said therapy gives you tools to deal with some of your issues, or many of the issues that you may have. And it's all, for me personally, one of the reasons I don't do therapy is because of the different things that I do surrounding my life to help me deal with my issues. Prayer, meditation, church, spirituality is a big one for most religious people. until they run into the real problems, which eventually everybody does for whatever reason. And for me, the big one is grief. I feel like that's a big area people should seek therapy when they can't handle grief, because that's the biggest killer in the church that I've seen, is people don't know how to handle those moments in life. So I would, because I haven't been there, I don't fully understand, but I know that they may come. That's the way I look at it.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I
for grief. I'm talking about grief for like somebody that died.
So I'm saying,
and they're grieving.
Well, it's just closure.
What you mean personally? You don't got no friends out there, no close associates?
I don't have nobody.
He said, "I don't care about them people."
No, I haven't had anybody like.
I don't care about them.
I didn't say that.
I don't care. Y'all they dead. It's closed.
Y'all put words in my mouth. It is closed once they dead though. But I haven't had that traumatic death experience.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. And that's so, like I said, that's, to me, that is one that I feel like a lot of people really do need therapy or counseling in dealing with grief.
Okay.
So I've seen that a lot.
Well, because we all gonna have to deal with it for sure.
Right.
But what do you do? Because you brought up, how in your case you utilize, prayer, meditation, your spirituality in church. What do people do where that is the source of the reason that they need to go to therapy?
Oh wow!
Because of trauma that has been created by people, not necessarily the
people. Now that's always,
because the problem
always the case. Because people, they have to find out the best way for them to help deal with those issues.
And the reason I ask is because if the thing that is causing you the problem, you can't exactly go to that thing to the people in that thing, I should say,
right,
to get the solution. Not that you can't go to that thing, but you can't. If the people are causing the problem, then you can't go to those people, because a lot of people, especially people, I would say of any faith community, they're going to go to the leader or the person that leads that particular group, right, to seek some form of therapy. But what is someone to do when that person is the cause of the problem?
Then you got to go outside of that person. Obviously, that's where you seek some. Again, that's what a therapist is. There's somebody outside of the problem that can make clear points or advice to give you an instruction to help you deal with the issue you're having a problem with.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Is God not the outside source? Why don't you just pray about it?
Hey, some people do. No, just some people do. And that's how they take it. That's what some people do. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. For some people it works, some people do. And that's always the thing. Like I always said, everybody is gonna have to find their own way, even with if you use therapy or not. You're gonna have to find your own way. It worked for me. That's why I don't look for other people in a lot of my situations.
It didn't work for me,
and I understand that, and that's why I said. So if it didn't work for you, you have to find out what works for you, and that's the most important thing. Is that people have to understand. You have to get the help you need. Everybody don't need the same help, so people don't understand that. Everybody feel like, oh, well, I need this or you need it. No, everybody don't need the same thing.
Oh, and I think one of the reasons they don't understand it is because for a very long time, you have been told that you didn't need it, that you only needed this. And if this couldn't fix the problem, then the problem was you.
Well, I was never told that.
I'm not saying you were, but I know people have been told that.
And that's sad. And that's I hate
the big bad wolf is there. The big bad wolf is there.
But it's sad that people are subjected to that.
It is.
Now, at the same time, if you relinquish the responsibility of your peace and your happiness to somebody else, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't disagree. I'm just like I just know that it does. It is, the problem is it is when you are groomed from a child to think a certain way, to believe a certain way.
Right.
A lot of people find it hard to break outside of that mold. They just do what they were raised doing.
Okay, and that's true. Now, at the same time, if somebody's groomed for a certain way in a certain aspect of life, right, and they become an adult and they don't see the need to change, or they don't see a different result that they are looking for, and they're getting the results they're looking for, that to me is that individual. They got to look at that. I take me for example. Again, one of the biggest reasons I don't pursue therapy yet is because I don't feel like I've had a problem bigger than what my solutions have been, or I could go to. Again, prayer, meditation. Those have answered a lot of my problems. So until I have to, now again, I haven't had the same levels of trauma or traumatic experiences as other people. And I know that, like I said, for grief, I haven't lost anybody close to me to the point to where I feel like, okay, that's going to be a void.
Oh,
that's going to be a problem.
Don't worry.
But I can see that coming, and because that's a part of life.
Yeah, it's coming.
Nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt from.
I'm just saying, the way you're saying it though, it sounds a little callous.
Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. Well, I mean, because it is coming.
That's real.
And
nobody is exempt.
And the problem is,
you're gonna escape this earth without having to deal with something traumatic. You're not crazy.
You're not. I say it. I'm not saying it callously. I'm just saying like it is. The problem is you have no idea when it's coming. Like right. Some people sure you might be able to see it afar off, right, as it were. But sometimes you just get a phone call and everything is different.
All of a sudden everything changes.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You just get a phone call and life is different.
To me, those moments, if you don't have that what most church people call the walk with God, whatever, you need therapy. You better have that on standby, because if you don't, that's going to be a trouble spot in your life that you're going to find it hard to get through.
It is, and I think too, going back to kind of what we're taught, I think it's even can sometimes be because as men, a lot of times we are taught not to discuss our emotions at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We are just groomed to whatever's going on, suck it up, be a man. That was 70s, 80s, and 90s parenting was suck it up, be a man. And but it's like, but I'm 6. Like, I can't be a man. I'm 6.
Get a job.
Like,
get out there,
don't. But then that as an adult, that turns into somebody who is, seen as stoic, emotionless, or whatever the case is, because for 20 some odd years you've been told, suck it up, be a man.
Suck it up.
And so then it makes it even more difficult, because you can be like Zoe, you going through all types of hell, but you don't feel the need to see somebody because guess what? Suck it up, be a man.
Well, this is the question that I see. Last one. Who needs therapy? Because for me, look for y'all's perspective. Give an example of why a person, or signs or clues that you might need therapy. help the listeners with that. Help the listeners and me to help other people to say, okay, these are maybe behavior patterns, or maybe by this action or this causes me to say, okay, you might need therapy, because a lot of people don't see it that way.
Okay, so the question was,
who needs therapy?
Who needs therapy? You do.
You got it.
I mean, that's. I mean, I would say the same. If you have breath in your lungs, you probably need therapy.
I get it. Get it. So y'all saying anybody alive? Needs therapy.
I'm gonna say yes, because like we talked about before with the depression episode, like if you have those traits of depression, well then you need some level of therapy. Now that could be dependent upon where your belief system is or whatever. Maybe you need to go see the priest, imam, whoever, and get some and talk to them. Hopefully they're not out there gossiping your business around. I mean, they're
in them streets.
Hey, you never know. You might hear about what you
know about them streets.
So that may be so that may be where you go, or you may go to someone professional. But the thing of it is, everybody's got something going on, and either somebody needs to talk to you, or you need to talk to somebody. Now, somebody is used loosely, right? It's used to me as somebody. And then you might find out after talking to the first person, maybe I should go seek some professional assistance. The other problem, I think, is most people are very slow to point you to when they say, look, I can't deal with this. They are slow to point you to professional help, to people that get paid to provide assistance. But I would say anybody that's breathing is going to need therapy at various points. Some form of therapy, some form of counseling at various points. Just depends on what's going on in the moment.
Well said, sir. I couldn't have said it no better.
Well, literally. You also was over there holding wild animals.
So to answer the question, everybody needs therapy.
I don't like you.
Everybody needs therapy. Now, if you may not need therapy to like today while you listen to the podcast, but you might need therapy 3 months ago, 5 years ago, 3 years from now, 2 years from now.
Point. Yeah,
and that's what I say. I say eventually you're gonna hit that. You're gonna hit a spot.
But it doesn't mean that you need to be like every week for the rest of your life talking to. I mean, you might, if that's what you need, but it means that so something like in my case, something happens. Okay, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. Let me go find somebody to talk to, or I respond in a way that's uncharacteristic to me, at least for myself. Something's going on, but I'm also I try to do my best to see myself, even though I know it's impossible. I try to realize when, okay, I'm not feeling like me.
When and the energy is low.
Yeah, energy is low, having trouble sleeping. Maybe I'm not, because I generally try to respond to everybody in kindness, and maybe I'm not doing that. Right? Maybe I'm very short and very direct with everybody. And I'm like, something. This is not my normal MO. So maybe something's going on. Let me just talk to somebody. And it might not be a quote unquote therapist or counselor. It could just, in my case, it could just be my spouse. It could be one of y'all. It could be anybody. Just as a kind of a pulse check. Like, am I tripping? And then if I'm tripping, then I might need to go see somebody.
And you slipping.
But if they got Menina, then you know I'm straight tripping.
Oh man, that's good, man. That is good.
So,
but you definitely have to know yourself though. In that regards of doing a self check, a pulse check, if you will, like you said. So yeah.
All right, what we got in closing, sir?
Well, I got something in closing, and I'm gonna say that to everybody listening, including Calvin,
they come for me. Another one. I'm gonna get another one. You gotta come for me again. I'm gonna get me another one.
For all those that's listening, man, thank you for listening, and I hope that you got something, words of encouragement in regards of seeking therapy. Whatever the issue is, I don't need to know, of course, because that's not my business. However.com, therapy works. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care who disagrees. Therapy works. That's all I got.
Yeah, whatever. I agree. At some point in time, everybody will need or should. I'm not gonna say will. Should see a therapist. That's where I am with the whole discussion. Everybody, at some point in your life, you will have to go outside of your problems and get help, and you should. So don't be ashamed when that moment comes. Just go get the help and keep it moving.
All right, everybody. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. So, Calvin.
Another one. Here we go. Another one.
With you saying that, are you saying that eventually you will seek and get therapy?
I would have to eventually. Because, I feel like my moment hasn't come.
All right. I just want that on record. That's all.
Yeah. I'm not against therapy. I don't confuse it. I'm not against therapy at all.
Cue the music.
Yeah, cue the music. I think everybody should have. You gotta have that. You gotta have that. Like you said, at least that ear, somebody to talk to, or somebody to talk to you.
So, okay. All right, that's all I got, man. Appreciate y'all.
We'll see y'all next week.
I'll see y'all next week because I'm gonna have another one. I'm gonna get my coffee and get another one because then they gonna start it.
Low down dirty.